Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this takeover webinar with the Enasoit Collection. I'm going to leave it a minute or so before I actually start the presentation because I know it always takes people a while to connect into the webinar. But it's always quite nice to know where people are tuning in from. So in the chat box, maybe say where you're from, whereabouts in the world you're from, so we can see how wide a reach we've got this afternoon. I'm here in cold Wiltshire, outside Bath, and Olivia Williams, who's joining me, who's the marketing manager for Enasoit Collection, is in Nairobi, so a lot warmer climate. But yeah, let me know where you are in the world and tuning in from. As I say, this is a takeover webinar, so Enasoit is not actually one of our smaller marketing clients, but it is a really unique experience that I was lucky enough to do with my family just recently in October half term. And when I was speaking to my travel industry friends, when I came back, so many of them were really interested in finding out more. So I thought I'll put on this kind of guest webinar in conjunction with Enasoit Collection and with Olivia, the marketing manager, being my co-host. So I'm going to talk to you about Tusitiri Dhow, and then I'll pass on to Olivia, who will speak to you about Enasoit in Laikipia. As is always the case, our webinars are recorded, so if you have to leave halfway through, don't worry, you will be sent a recording of the webinar. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat box. I'll also be sharing Olivia's details and Kirsty, who's in charge of reservations for both Tusitiri and Enasoit. I'll be sharing both their details in the follow-up after the webinar. But let's get kick-started. Let's take you to Lamu for the next few minutes. So Enasoit is actually, Enasoit Camp and Tusitiri Dhow is actually owned by a Scandinavian family who, unusually actually, their English home is about 500 yards from me in this village outside Bath. So it's very weird that, we have this very small, it's a small world. But 30 years ago, the family went to Kenya and set down permanent roots within Kenya and created two really unique experiences and incredible for exclusive use experiences. And I think for me, the reason why I wanted to share this presentation with you is for families or for clients who have maybe been to Africa a few times and who are quite adventurous. Both the kind of offerings are really cool and really different. So I'm going to speak to you about Tusitiri Dhow and our experience we had when we were up in Lamu in October half term. So Tusitiri is one of the oldest dhows in Lamu, and it's about 50 years old. It's a beautiful, big, what we call jahazi. It used to be a cargo dhow. So this whole coastline, as you'll know, the East African coast is full of these beautiful dhows. And this is an incredibly special one. It was painstakingly renovated by the family who own it now. And it's just a real kind of work of art. It was a real kind of privilege to stay on. And it hasn't changed for all these years in terms of the design of the boat, the concept of the boat. It's just a really beautiful experience. It's located in Lamu. We stayed on it for 2 nights. Most people would do between 3 and 5 nights. And the reason why you'll do longer is you can then obviously go exploring further afield. Whereas because we only had 2 nights, we stayed in the Lamu archipelago, which was not a problem because it's beautiful. But normally most guests would actually go further up north and go exploring further afield. Lamu is super easy to get to. It's about an hour-and-a-half flight from Nairobi, regular scheduled flights. And then you're met at Lamu Airport, and you put all your bags in a little wheelbarrow. That's, well, you don't. When you're met by your host, they'll wheel your bags along the jetty, and you're met by a boat, and then taken off to your accommodation. So it's you do feel like you're stepping back in time. Lamu is the most beautiful area. And what's really lovely about staying on Tusitiri is you feel like it's almost a kind of extension of that Lamu experience, which is really kind of hasn't changed for hundreds and hundreds of years. So the concept behind Tusitiri is really it's for people who are adventurous, who want luxury, but not the kind of gold-gilded luxury. It's for me, it's pure luxury. You sleep on deck. It is it's all about the water sports. It's all about escaping. It's all about the peace and serenity being in the boat. For a family like ours, so our kids are aged 16, 14, and 11. So they're older, they're very active. It was absolutely perfect because they don't really want to sit still. They want to go exploring. They want to do activities. So it was just the most heavenly few days to spend on there. As I said, we stayed around the Lamu archipelago, which is very much like this kind of environment. mangrovey, lots of channels. But actually, often guests will go further afield. They'll go out into the ocean. They'll go up to the further north on the Kenyan coast. There are 10 members of staff on the boat, and everyone sleeps on deck, which you think would be quite weird. But actually, what's amazing is obviously they've been doing it for so long. Mia, the manager, has been on the boat for 10 years. They set up a kind of system between where you're sleeping and they're sleeping, and it's really, really lovely, actually. It's very, you hear them just all speaking away in Swahili, and it's like a kind of quiet hum in the background. It's incredibly relaxing. It's life on board is quite simple. It's all about getting out there, doing activities. The food is cooked on deck in a little kitchen area at the back. It's incredible what they can create based on really an open stove at the back of a boat. And it's all, as you can imagine, mainly seafood, lots of fresh veggies. It's simple but really, really tasty. So as I said, the Dhow is a traditional wooden sailing boat, originally built for cargo, really, for carrying spices all around the Indian Ocean trade routes. And it's a beautiful, beautiful vessel. It is very large. It can sleep up to 10 people on deck. We were 5. And I think probably 8 would be perfect. 10 would be great. You'd have to know each other. I mean, obviously it's taken over exclusively, but 10 would definitely have to be a family or very, very good friends. These images are a mixture of my images and Tusitiri's images. So this one, for example, obviously is mine. It's not a professional image, but I wanted to show you really how wide the deck was and how the different areas are set out. This is the deck area. So these cushions to the right, left-hand side here, during the day are really big, lovely, soft cushions you can just relax into. And then at night, they're actually pulled out into bedrolls. So that's where you sleep. The bit behind here goes down to the deck below. This is just view from the top, just so you can see just how beautiful the views were, really, wherever we were sailing. What's incredible about the boat is you do sometimes think, gosh, why do they need 10 members of staff on board? But when you see what they are doing and how they pull the sails up, you understand exactly why they need 10 members of staff on board. It is absolutely incredible. And the kind of manpower that's needed behind putting those sails up is amazing. And there's nothing better than sitting on deck when the huge sail is out and you're sailing along in this vessel that you know hasn't changed, for hundreds of years. This is my daughter Ella illustrating 2 of the areas of the boat. This is the shower on the left-hand side and the loo on the right-hand side. There is a loo downstairs as well, but these are really cool. They're like built out off the side of the boat. And there's something very magical about showering under the stars, hanging off the edge of a boat. It's a very, very cool experience. This again is the kids just exploring, and you see here how they go down deck. So it's not for, as you can see, it's not for guests who have accessibility challenges. You've got to be pretty nimble to be able to go up and down the steps, but it's amazing for guests like us who have active, adventurous kids who just love that the kind of romance and adventure of it all. This is the layout of the boat. So the back, you have a beautiful, very chilled seated area where you also have not the steering wheel, I can't remember the boat, but anyway, the steering wheel. You have a little kind of coffee table area, chairs. In the middle, you have the stairs down to the lower deck, which is the film I just showed you. Cushions either side. You then have the dining area, the kind of bar area, and a little kitchen at the front. And then when you go downstairs, you don't sleep below deck, you all sleep on deck, but there's a beautiful big dressing room. And you have day beds if you do want to have a chill downstairs during the day. You have a mirror room, which is perfect for ladies wanting to do their makeup or whatever, a downstairs WC, and then the rest is actually stores and staff areas as well. So this is just a couple of my films to show you the downstairs. This is a mirror room. So you see beautifully styled, just amazing kind of craftsmanship. And then this is the dressing room. So this is where you put all your luggage and where you get changed. And everyone gets a lovely kikoi and a lovely dressing gown. So it's very, very, very stylish and very comfortable. Then sleeping. It's all about sleeping under the stars. And this was really, really special. This is my daughter Ella, fast asleep in the morning. To wake up on a boat in the middle of the night and see the stars all around you is just one of life's great experiences. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very peaceful. There's not many mosquitoes because you're out to sea, so you're not near land. So it's you don't have to worry about being bitten. And this is how they lay up each of the beds. They're very private between each section. But it's all about that kind of romance and that adventure of sleeping out under the stars. It's absolutely magical. And it's just very, very peaceful. This is the kind of, I suppose, lounge area at the back, the chilled seating area, with the coffee table, beautiful view at the back. And then you are there on the water. So whenever you want to get off the boat, you have got a huge variety of activities you can do, whether it's kayaking, whether it's paddleboarding, whether it's donutting, wakeboarding, fishing, just mooring off and exploring. It's my daughter wakeboarding, mooring off and exploring the beaches around the area. It's me. So, I mean, we were busy, as you can tell, the whole time. And just, for families that are active, it's just heaven. There's just constantly things you can do, exploring the area, getting out onto the water, just jumping off the boat. It was incredible as well. Paddleboarding first thing is just before breakfast is very magical. This was a beautiful spot where we saw actually the Dhows coming for sundowners, and then my children slightly ruining the lovely, beautiful, peaceful view with the donut here, but having such fun. I mean, it's just kids heaven and adults heaven as well. And then it's really beautiful, just very, very peaceful as well. You moor up, you see these beautiful Dhows all sailing around you. So you can either be as active or as chilled as you like. And you just feel like you're stepping back in time, and just it's a real privilege to be able to have that kind of experience of on a vessel that's just such an incredible work of art, really, as well. Chill out times. This is my son studying for his mock GCSEs, which he had when he came back, but it was a nice break. Very good Wi-Fi. We had Starlink Wi-Fi, so super, in a way you hope not, but actually it was very, very efficient Wi-Fi. The food, as I mentioned earlier, is really kind of focused on seafood. Obviously, you're on the ocean. Lots of fish, crabs, lobster, yummy coconut drinks. Very kind of all handmade at the back of the boat, which is just incredible in this tiny kitchen. So I think really for me, what is very, very special about Tusitiri and the whole experience is just to have that privacy and seclusion is very, very unique. And to be able to get around and explore all these different areas. Tusitiri has 2 boats alongside it. So, which are the ones we use for doing the activities, because obviously it's such a big vessel, you can't really pull anything along at high speed. So you have these 2 boats you can go off and do different activities on. You then moor up alongside beaches, so you can then go for a beach picnic. You can just stay on the boat and look at all the Dhows sailing around you. You can do whatever you want to do. The staff are so amazing, and they're totally flexible in terms of the activities. So it really is a very, very special experience. This just lists of some of the facilities. So as I said, there's 2 bathrooms. So if you didn't want to use a loo on deck, you can go downstairs and use a loo downstairs. The shower is taken upstairs. There's 2 different boats that are the 2 different tenders that we use for water sports. There's everything you want in terms of comfort and luxury. And all of those things are included in your stay. So it's a very, very kind of, you very much feel, it's amazing how quickly you feel at home, even though you're on a boat that you've never, it's such a step away from life back at home. But also, exploring Lamu and Shella and the whole area there is just incredible as well. So you can either take it out exclusively if you're going overnight, or you can also do day excursions for groups from Lamu as well. But if you've got clients who are a little bit more adventurous, who may be traveling as a group, who have been to Africa a few times, it would be the most magical experience to have.